35-year-old mechanic didn't think twice as smoke rose from the engine. 10 nurses stood helplessly nearby, and a worried 25-year-old girl cried, begging someone to save the patient inside. He opened the hood, ignoring the panic around him, and worked fast as the 35-year-old female nurse explained the patient's condition. His hands moved with precision, tightening connections and replacing a loose belt. The engine coughed, sputtered, then roared back to life, easing the fear in every face watching him. As the ambulance started rolling again, the nurses rushed to escort the patient inside. The mechanic stepped back, relieved, unaware his act of courage had changed everything. The girl thanked him with trembling relief, tears streaming down her cheeks, while the female nurse called him a hero, saving lives without asking anything in return. Minutes later, when he reached his workshop, the manager stood waiting with anger in his eyes. Without listening, he fired him for leaving work. The mechanic tried to explain the emergency, but the man refused, accusing him of irresponsibility and causing delays. The mechanic walked away silently, disappointed but not ashamed inside. Hours passed before he learned the truth. The patient he saved was the CEO of a major car company, a powerful 35-year-old man now awake in the hospital. He remembered the mechanic's face, the steady hands repairing the failing ambulance, and asked the nurses to find the man immediately for an important reason. When the mechanic arrived at the hospital, confused and nervous, the nurses welcomed him respectfully. The CEO waited inside a private room, watching the doorway with gratitude. The mechanic stepped in quietly, unsure why a billionaire wanted to meet someone like him, someone who had just lost his only job today. The CEO thanked him sincerely, explaining how his quick actions kept him alive during those critical minutes. The mechanic tried to shrug it off humbly, saying he only did what anyone with skills should do. But the CEO told him not everyone would risk their job to save a stranger's life in a crisis. The girl who had cried earlier entered the room, smiling warmly at the mechanic. She told him he was brave and selfless, someone rare in a world full of indifference. The 35-year-old female nurse agreed, saying the hospital staff could never repay such fearless kindness and dedication shown without hesitation that day. The CEO then revealed his intention. He wanted the mechanic to join his company, not as a basic worker, but as a lead specialist in engine diagnostics. The man was stunned, unable to believe the offer. After being fired unfairly, someone finally recognized his worth, and the CEO called him a lifesaver and an expert. The mechanic accepted with gratitude, tears forming for the first time. The CEO smiled, telling him the world needed more people like him, people who acted from the heart instead of fear. The nurses clapped quietly, celebrating his new beginning, while the girl watched him with admiration shining in her eyes. When he left the hospital that day, everything felt different. The sun felt warmer, and the world felt kinder. The girl walked beside him, thanking him once more. He smiled, realizing her appreciation meant more than she knew. His life, once filled with struggle and uncertainty, had suddenly taken a brighter direction. He looked back at the hospital entrance before walking away. The CEO raised a hand in farewell from the window, a silent promise of trust and new opportunities. The mechanic breathed deeply, feeling stronger than ever. His courage during an emergency had rewritten his future in ways he had never imagined before. Outside, the female nurse approached with a smile, giving him her number in case he ever needed help. The girl laughed softly, teasing him that he had become popular today. He blushed but appreciated the warmth around him. After a long time, he felt valued, respected, and truly seen for who he was inside. As he walked down the street, the sounds of the busy day echoed around him, but they felt lighter. The greatest moment wasn't the new job, but the realization that kindness still mattered. What he thought was a punishment became a blessing. Saving a life had brought him a new one in return.